All still getting there. I can see 1, 2. The Jeep one for the last well. She's putting down best. Think about this.
G'day punters, welcome back to the MacBet Saturday review show. I'm your host James. Joining me is Tommy Henjak after a little trip over to Ascot, mate. How'd you go?
Yeah, no, it was good. Good couple of days to get away, and it was certainly a challenge doing something different. With the 5.5 hour flight over to Ascot, I decided to have a crack at some of the form over there, and came up with a small profit. And probably something I'll be doing over the next couple of weeks during the carnival, because there's some Eastern horses over there that I'm pretty confident with the ratings that I have established, or that we have established over here, and I think I've been able to line them up pretty good last week, so happy to keep going with that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's good fun betting out far and wide. Definitely, we have never doubled in Ascot before or WA at all. I think furthest we've gone is Hong Kong. But yeah, today we're going to take a look at Gold Coast race 6 from Saturday, and we're also going to review the Winterbottom Stakes there as well at Ascot. But Tom, good day Saturday. I want to touch on good day for you. Emerald Kingdom got the cash at the Goldie.
Yeah.
Or King.
Fortunately, we didn't.
Emerald.
Emerald Kingdom, yeah. Emerald. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird race. Like, kind of ended up with the market being exactly how I'd priced it, and that's in no way me trumpeting or anything that I was able to price up the race. But like, there was just no value there whatsoever, and like, even I didn't even have a cent on him. But so it was good to see him win. But yeah, it's very exciting going forward. They've been able to put 2 wins together this preparation. Big thank you to Desley and her team for getting him to where he is now, and he's a happy horse, and there's no reason why he can't continue to improve and race really well in the next month or two.
Absolutely, very exciting. Well, yeah, for us it was a pretty flat week overall. We had 20 units out, 19.6 back, roughly lost 0.7 units, 1 unit there. So a little bit disappointing. We're teetering at the 4.2% profit on turnover mark for the year, which is definitely a bit less than we probably want. We usually aim for that 10%, Tom, is that right?
Yeah. Anything higher than 10, maybe like 12, 13 is probably what kind of aim for a tipping service.
Yeah.
The staking was a bit like, I think the staking probably like let us down a bit this week, to be honest. I think John had one there on Sunday, the Sunny Coast one that was probably, I think it was $9 in the morning or something, and ended up starting $5 or something on Betfair, and like that makes a big difference in the grand scheme of things. Like couple of units profit extra, and then you're looking at a much better week. For the official results anyway, there are a lot of people that have started taking like fix in the morning and stuff, and obviously that helps their balances. But yeah, that's just what it is for the official results.
Yeah, for sure. And even with the Betfair SP, like that's what we're recording at. But you might get the yard tip 5 minutes out. It might be $6 fixed available, and it might jump $4 for example.
I'll give a bit of a drive-by to some. Yeah, there was a guy on Twitter during the week who had a bit of a smart-ass comment saying, "Oh, why don't you take
serial
out?"
pest. Nick White, serial pest. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, and you've explained it already. Is like if we start taking commission out of that end price, we're like seriously going to hammer the official results, which aren't necessarily a true reflection of what the subscribers are getting, because a lot of people are taking the prices when we send out the tips from the yard, which is 5 minutes before jump, which severely affects the Betfair starting price.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a bit of a raid on, was it Ballina this week? There was a few other plenty of extra out far and wide sort of meetings in the subscriber chat there on Discord.
Yeah, well, I like doing the meetings that we don't officially cover, because I kind of just get to pick the eyes out of each kind of 2 to 3 races out of each kind of jurisdiction, ones that I have like a lot of confidence in, and then I can spend a bit more time on them instead of just doing the grind on all the ones that we officially cover. So yeah, there was a few during the week. Kilcoy on the Saturday. I think it was Grafton on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then obviously Ascot, and yeah, pretty confident with where I've got the Northern Rivers ratings at the moment. So, and I am quite enjoying betting down there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, results maybe 4.2-ish, a little bit disappointing, but when you sort of add, if you're getting the right price, and then there's a few extras in there as well, it's not all that bad. But yeah, no, absolutely doing really well there. Well, let's dive into the Gold Coast first, and then we'll do Ascot next. Okay, first race we're going to be reviewing here is race 6 from Saturday at the Gold Coast, 1100-meter race. We had 1 unit on Luskin Hero in the morning around the $5.50 mark. It's run second in the Yellow Silks.
Yeah, this was I covered the even races there on Saturday at the Gold Coast, and this was one race that I was really happy to play into, given the early market. Some of them that were I thought they were definitely under their true odds in this race. I think Zuma California ended up being our official lay of the day on Twitter. It's in the red silks and out wide. It ends up missing the start, but it looked a fairly even race for a benchmark 80. And I just thought there was a lot of confidence in how this race was going to map out. I thought Liza with a Z in those kind of leopard print colours for Golan, it was always going to lead and find the front pretty comfortably, and then either Riddle or Zuma California would slide up outside it and be up there on the speed too. So I thought there'd probably be a slow to medium tempo, and that would allow something probably sitting in that second or third pair to be the one that would be hitting the line first there in the straight. They end up leading up at probably 7.5 lengths slower than the class average there at the Gold Coast. So it's heavily advantaged those on the speed and put those back in the field at a real disadvantage. So I'll start off with the lay of the day, that Zuma California. It's gone quite good here. Originally, I was happy to be against it because I think that it definitely always improves second up into its preparation, and especially with the big weight here. I know they were claiming down to 58.5, but from the wide gate, he might just have had to do a little bit of too much work early and get him over racing. And we've seen in the past first up that he doesn't quite finish off as good. So I was happy to be against him. The other two that were fairly close in single figures there in the morning were Shamaton, which is in the yellow and green Golan colours, and Shamrock Lou in the orange and blue. I just thought they were always going to get too far out of the race. And also Shamrock Lou, I thought, was a big query at the 1100 meters, but the market didn't seem to think so. I think late in betting, Shamaton and Shamrock Lou were fairly firm. They ended up $6.20 Shamrock Lou and $4.40 Shamaton. So if I was there in the yard, probably would have got a result here, because I always thought Miss Hipstar, who's in the orange, was going to get the right run up there on the speed and be strong late. Unfortunately for ours, Luskin Hero, I just don't think he got in the right position there in the second pair, one off for the informed Martin Harley, and but he just hasn't run up to that first up run at Ipswich in that class 4 where he really savaged the line behind Circularity. He hasn't gone. He's probably lost 2 lengths on that run, which is a little bit disappointing. Our man in the yard there said his coat was a little bit ordinary, so I wouldn't exactly be saying following him third up until we see him in the yard. But I think the horse to take out of the race is definitely Zuma California. I think it's the only horse that's kind of had to overcome any difficulty during the run throughout.
All right, we're going coast to coast here. Race 8 at Ascot. Tom had a quick look, had half a unit on Elite Street in the morning as a bit of a saver bet around the $4.80 mark, and 1 unit on This'll Test Ya at $9, the 14 runner.
Yeah, so this was a race that obviously there was a few Eastern horses that were bringing form over from the last month or so from Victoria. So had the ratings done for them, and then I just had to do a quick review of the last month kind of at Ascot for these open class races. So had a fair bit of confidence. I thought the track was probably going to favour horses running down the middle. and also they looked very good speed in the race. So we're looking for horses that we're going to settle midfield or worse. As you can see, Indian Pacific in the yellow colours with the maroon hat. It's Shanghai's out of the gates with Massimo on the red hat with the white sleeves. They pinged from the outside gate and with speed drawn wide. That was always going to ensure a genuine tempo in a Group 1 race. Ended up going 5.6 lengths faster than Group 1 average there for 1,200 metre races at Ascot. So that really did set up for horses that were coming from back and wide on the field. Unfortunately for This Will Test You, the horse that we had a unit on, they were trying to get its barrier the blindfold off it in the gates, and it just spooked the horse, and she ends up missing the kick there at the start, spat out the back in the black with the pink sleeves. So although the race has kind of suited the run on horses, it was still a pretty good run there from This Will Test You, but got to talk about the winner here in Paul Ellie. Although it's been in the completely suited by the way the race has been run, he's gone like an absolute rocket here. Like they've gone that hard in front, and he's run the second fastest last 200 of the meeting. So the market didn't really forecast this improvement with the blinkers coming off, which is what you can put it. Well, he failed in the 2 runs prior to this in Victoria. One of them was when they put the blinkers on. The other one was on a wet track at Moonee Valley. So he's improved probably 2 to 3 lengths on anything he's done before, ridden cold off our kind of ratings. Whether he can replicate that going up to 1,400 in the Gold Rush next start, that remains to be seen. But he's gone like an absolute rocket here, Paul Ellie, as I said. And you just got to take your hat off him. The market didn't want to be with him. I think it was 7s out to $16 on Betfair or something like that. The market were happy to risk him going back to last, and the market really gravitated towards the Colonel Reeves form from a fortnight prior. That was This Will Test You, who was very heavily backed late. The market was still somewhat with Elite Street. He was very unlucky here, being caught 3 wide the trip on a hot tempo, but even factoring that in, I still think he's a little bit below his best from when he won, put a string of wins together last preparation. I will say in the yard, though, his coat isn't completely there yet. So when we go to the Gold Rush over 1,400 metres in 2 weeks' time, we are really going to have to wait and see what's going on in the yard. The other runner you probably got to have mention is, I forgot to mention, was Rothfire. He's probably rated up to most runs that he's done this preparation. So it wasn't a horrible run by any sorts. Just the way the race was run and how the track was playing was completely against him. He's pulled up with a little issue too, so that's the end of his campaign. But he's certainly running well enough at the moment to probably pick off a Group 2 or Group 3 next time we see him. Yep, and the other one the market really come for was My Bella May, which was the 3-year-old down on 51.5 kilos, but it's probably just a forgive run. It's gone pretty plain there in the yellow colours, but run 9 to 16 runners, but it's 4th up in its first prep, so probably one to follow next prep, My Bella May. But going forward, given how some of these runners went, I think that Colonel Reeves form, the market definitely overplayed that. I've kind of adjusted the ratings from a fortnight ago going forward for that race, which was 1,100 metres. So, that's how the market kind of foresaw the race being run. I think definitely piled too far into that Colonel Reeves form, and Palelli ended up drifting at $16, as I said earlier, and pulled everyone's pants down. The Eastern form really did reign supreme. Even Kiss on All Four Cheeks, who's run second here, it was a mile back to 1,200 off some really good runs in Victoria. It'll be going to the Gold Rush too. But if I had to give it early tip for the Gold Rush, I think Valana is a clear on topper for mine. I think the $4 is still a touch of value. I've kind of half priced the race already a little bit without factoring in gates or that kind of stuff in early, which we'll find out when the time arises. But Valana's a clear on topper on the ratings, given how some of these have gone in the Winterbottom. Polelli's obviously a huge chance off this type of run, but I don't think he can go to this kind of rating again, going up to 1,400 meters.
All right, that concludes our review of a couple of races there from Saturday. Tom, last week, a couple of runners to follow.
Yep. So from Doomben on the Wednesday meeting, the first race, First Love. It's no star by any means, but it probably is better or can win a maiden up here. I think it was a really poor ride, and was given absolutely none there by Jim Burns. So it can probably pick off a maiden somewhere in the next couple of weeks for Jack Bruce and the team. And then the second runner is from the Gold Coast on Saturday, race 7 in the Eureka Stud Classic, the third horse, Extremist. It was really poorly weighted under the set weights and penalties conditions of the race, and also the tempo of the race was completely against it. They went really hard in front, and somehow every time they chuck this mare into each race, it just keeps improving, keeps stepping up to a bar and stepping up to the bar. So it's also a sign of how good the breed are going. Those extreme choices, I think John's been talking about it a bit recently. They go at about 33% win strike rate, which is absolutely out of this world for a sire. So yeah, those are the two to follow in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, that's Doomben race 1, First Love from the Wednesday meeting on the 23rd of November, and Gold Coast race 7, Extremist from Saturday. Tom, we're just looking at the schedule there. It's a massive week. You got Gold Coast tomorrow on Wednesday, Gatton Thursday, Friday is Ipswich and Sunny Coast night meeting. Saturday, Doomben and Gold Coast. Sunday, Sunny Coast. You're going to be having your head buried in the form. Hopefully, didn't have too many sherbets on the weekend over at Ascot.
Nah, well, I've got the little kind of mini holiday out of the break now, and all engines going forward towards obviously this week, and then the summer carnival after that.
Yep. No, it's a great time for racing here in Queensland. Thanks for your time and your insights. As always, Tom, we'll hear from you next week.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, mate.